I'd like to talk about kissing. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm not talking about no second base. I'm talking about cultural traditions gone terribly wrong. And by terribly wrong, I mean Eric had to do them. Now, I am from America, and in America, the way you greet people is generally with a handshake, or if they're a friend, maybe a hug. But we don't do kissy, smoochy, smoochy. The first time I encountered this problem was when I was living in France. I went with my friends to a family event, and you had an entire line of people greeting us. Later, I learned they're not actually touching. It's this sort of thing where you put your cheek against their cheek, and you both kind of... I didn't know this. My first customer was an old lady. Ah, bonjour, mon petit. And I kind of noticed that people were doing the kissy, smoochy, smoochy. And I went in for the kill. Problem number one, I actually was kissing her cheek. And then I went for the other cheek. So there was actual slobber and whiskers getting all over her face. I'm sure she didn't like that. The other thing was, I didn't know how many times you're supposed to kissy, smoochy, smoochy. So I went 1, 2. And then she was done. She was ready to move on to the next person, and so she kind of just like turned her face away. I thought I was gonna go in for a third. So her face leaves my face isn't quite done, and somehow it caused our lips to actually graze. Over time, I started to figure it out. But it was always a challenge because they kiss different amounts of times depending on what region you're from. If you're from here, it's 1. If you're from here, it's 2. If you're from here, it's like 2, and then a high five, and then an elbow tap. Now, when I got to Lebanon, it was only harder because I was friends with Americans, but then also Lebanese, but then some people that were American Lebanese. But I noticed that more people liked the kissy, smoochy, smoochy, and I noticed that they generally did 2, but sometimes if they spoke French, they did 3. And yes, I often had that awkward moment. And the Lebanese person walks away, leaving Eric's lips in the air, dangled in shame. I have no idea why I'm telling you this story or what the moral is. Please leave a comment in the box below, subscribe to my videos, and follow me on Twitter.